Controlling the urge is a battle of discipline that you must win long before motivation disappears. You stop waiting for the feeling of strength and start building the non-negotiable habits that keep your power locked in place. Motivation is a fickle emotion that serves you when things are easy, but it will abandon you the moment a high-intensity urge strikes at 2 a.m. Mastery over your sexual energy is not about being inspired to stay clean. It is about having a disciplined system that makes relapse an impossibility. When you rely on discipline, you are no longer a victim of your mood. Motivation is like a spark, but discipline is the engine that keeps the vehicle moving through the dark. Most men fail at semen retention because they start their journey on a high after watching a motivational video. When that initial excitement fades, and it always does, they are left defenseless against the biological pressure of the urge. Discipline is the ability to do what you hate to do, but doing it like you love it. It is the cold shower when you're shivering, the workout when you're tired, and the phone being put away when the craving for a peek becomes overwhelming. The urge is not an enemy to be destroyed, but a wild horse to be broken. You stop trying to kill your sexual drive and start learning how to ride it. Motivation tries to ignore the horse. Discipline builds the fence and holds the reins. The urge is simply raw energy seeking an outlet. If you have no discipline, that energy will always take the path of least resistance, a quick release. With discipline, you force that energy to take the path of most growth. This shift from avoiding to directing is the hallmark of a disciplined man who understands his own biology. Biologically, discipline is the strengthening of the prefrontal cortex over the impulsive amygdala. Every time you say no to an urge, you are literally rewiring your brain. You are building the neural pathways of self-control. Motivation is a chemical spike in the reward center that temporarily masks your impulses. Discipline is the structural change of the brain itself. This is why mastery feels hard at first, but becomes a permanent part of your character over time. You are not just trying to retain. You are becoming a person who does not give in to lower impulses. The greatest trap in controlling the urge is the just this once fallacy. Motivation will tell you that you deserve a reward because you've been good for a week. Discipline recognizes this as a Trojan horse. A disciplined man understands that the reward of a relapse is actually a punishment for his future self. Discipline is the long-term vision that allows you to sacrifice a momentary pleasure for a lifetime of power. By staying disciplined, you protect the momentum that motivation can never provide. Momentum is the byproduct of discipline, and it is the strongest shield against relapse. Discipline creates a standard of operation for your life. You stop making decisions in the heat of the moment because your decisions were already made when you were calm. For example, a disciplined retainer has a rule: no phone in the bedroom. This rule is not based on how he feels on a Tuesday night. It is an architectural boundary. When you have enough boundaries in place, you don't need to fight the urge with willpower. You simply follow the system. This reduces decision fatigue, which is the primary reason men cave in when their motivation is low. We must also understand that discipline is a muscle that must be trained in non-sexual areas to be effective against the urge. If you cannot discipline yourself to wake up on time, eat healthy, or finish your work, you will never have the strength to control your sexual drive. Success in retention is a holistic achievement. By being disciplined in the small things, you build the willpower reserves necessary for the big battles. Every small win you claim throughout the day is a payment into the bank account of your self-mastery, which you will draw upon when the urge strikes. The urge often disguises itself as boredom or stress. Motivation fails here because it only works when you have a positive goal in sight. Discipline works when life is gray and dull. When you are bored, discipline tells you to pick up a book or go for a walk. When you are stressed, discipline tells you to meditate or breathe. It provides a script for your behavior that doesn't depend on your internal state. By following the script, you bypass the emotional turmoil that usually leads to a relapse, keeping your energy stores intact even during the hardest times. Mastery starts with discipline, because discipline is the only thing that creates true self-respect. You cannot respect a man who only works when he feels like it. When you keep your promises to yourself, especially the difficult ones, your subconscious mind begins to believe in your own authority. This self-belief is the ultimate urge killer. When you see yourself as a disciplined king, the idea of acting like a desperate addict becomes repulsive. You don't retain because you have to. You retain because it is beneath your new identity to do otherwise. The urge is actually an invitation to level up. Every time you feel that intense pressure, it is a sign that your cup is full of energy. Discipline is the pipe that carries that water to the fields of your ambition. Motivation wants to drink the water immediately to feel good. Discipline wants to irrigate the future. By reframing the urge as raw fuel, you stop fearing it. You start looking forward to the challenge of controlling it, knowing that each victory makes the muscle of your discipline larger and more capable for the next round. There is a peace that comes with discipline that motivation can never touch. Motivation is loud and frantic. It's a pep talk that leaves you exhausted. Discipline is the quiet confidence of a man who knows he is in control. You walk differently when you are disciplined. You look people in the eye with a different intensity. You know that you are the master of your house. This internal peace reduces the internal friction that creates urges in the first place. A man at peace with his discipline rarely seeks the chaotic hit of a cheap release. Ultimately, the transition from motivation to discipline is the transition from a boy to a man. A boy does what feels good in the moment. A man does what is necessary for the long term. Semen retention is the ultimate training ground for this transition. By choosing discipline over the feeling of the urge, you are forging a character that can withstand the storms of life. This character is your greatest asset. Long after these superpowers of retention become your new normal, the discipline you built to get there will remain, serving you in every area of your existence. Mastering the urge is not a one-time event. It is a daily practice of maintenance. You don't win and then stop. You continue to apply the same discipline that got you to day 10 on day 1000. However, the effort required changes. What was once a grueling struggle becomes an automated habit. This is the compounding interest of discipline. It gets easier because you get stronger. Motivation might get you started on the path, but only discipline will allow you to reach the summit and see the view. If this video gave you real value, tap the thanks button. Your support helps me keep creating deeper content like this. Every thanks is a spark that keeps this mission alive. Your support means more than you know. Real wisdom deserves real energy. Drop a thanks to fuel the next level. In conclusion, stop checking your motivation levels. It doesn't matter if you feel like retaining today. It only matters that you do it. Build your systems, set your boundaries, and train your will in the small things. When the urge comes, and it will, don't look for a reason to stay strong. Look to your discipline. Look to the man you have decided to become. The urge is the fire, but discipline is the iron that is forged within it. Stay disciplined, and you will stay powerful. The path of mastery is open to any man willing to trade the spark of motivation for the iron of discipline. It is a lonely path at times, as most men will always choose the easy way. But the rewards at the end of the disciplined path are far beyond anything the motivated man can imagine. You will possess a level of self-command that borders on the supernatural. You will be the master of your urges, the master of your energy, and the master of your destiny.